Hello, everyone. This is Chala, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert. Oh my gosh, my voice is already leaving me. And we just started. Welcome to Tuesday Tea Time with Chala. I am drinking something other than tea again. I've got so many liquids to get into me in a given day. These are my supplements, all like in powder form. I've got my protein that I'm trying to catch my protein grams for the day. I've started my, fitness coaching program and just did my, metabolic testing today with my blood work. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to lift heavy weights now, but I have a huge workout waiting for me right after this. So it is a busy, busy day. How's your summer going? Let me take a sip. So I thought this week we would talk about something that affects everyone. Everybody who is an entrepreneur and who's trying to sell their services, who's a CEO and has a company, has a presence on LinkedIn. Now, how much attention you pay to that presence, how much business you expect to get out of it, it really doesn't matter because whether you like it or not, people do search you out and they look at it. And your bio is one of the most telling pieces of information that they go to. So I just thought I would put together this Tuesday Tea Time with Chala, a little bit of tutorial on what to do and say in your bio and what are some of the things that you should have to impress and persuade and to get people to pay attention to you. Now, most of the time, people don't seek you out unless they've seen you speak somewhere, they've read something that you've written, or you've reached out to them in some way and you've caught their attention in some way. And usually it's not really through a passive means, it's usually through an active means of, as I said, either you're reaching out to them or they've seen you somewhere, they've met you in some way, and then they research you. And LinkedIn is one of the first things that comes up as a search result. So here are some of the things that you need to have if you want to stop leaving money on the table and you want to up the ante in impressions that you make on people. You want to stop confusing them and give them a very specific information about how you can help them. So the first thing, of course, for me, everything begins with your niche of who you help and what problem you solve for them. And just like every other piece of information that's out on the internet or comes from your mouth, it has to hold together. It has to be strategically bound together by your whole communication strategy. So that's the work that I do with clients is we put together a strategy where we figure out systematically and with a process strategically how and where you're going to target in the market. What is the industry or interest group that you most want to double, triple, quadruple your business in the next 6 to 12 months? And what is the number one problem that you solve for them? Now, why not use your LinkedIn profile, which is not set in stone? You can change it, which I've changed according to different phases of my business or different projects that I was involved in. So what I want you to do is, if you haven't done that work, that strategic work of trying to figure out who to target and what problem, primarily the most expensive business problem that they're looking to you to solve, if you don't know those questions, you need to go back, take a step back and do the research, find a strategist like me who can help you and figure that out so that your LinkedIn profile bio has that crucial information in it. So number one thing you need to have in that bio is your niche. In the top of, when your name comes up, that's where you need to put, what you do, who you help, and what your company name is and what your name is, right? And your title and function are also, that's where it goes. Now, after that is the about section. And that's where the about section, and for me, my about section is the same on my speaking bios. It's the same on my website about section. So I literally have used the same kind of information. And these criteria that I'm telling you, or these elements that I think you should have in your bio, are true for whether the bio is used in your LinkedIn bio, in your LinkedIn About section, or in your web page, or as a speaker, or in your book cover, book jacket. One thing I want to mention is something called keyword stuffing, meaning whatever is the problem that you solve for whatever industry, your decision makers who want to hire you, if they were to look for you online, if they were to Google you, and this is actually a very critical question that we ask when we're working with clients, that we teach them to ask their prospects, is what are the keywords that you're looking, how do you search for me? How do you look for me? And that's where we're finding the search keywords. So once you have those search keywords from the horse's mouth, meaning what they tell you from their mouth is this is exactly the word that we would be looking for, then you need to keyword stuff, meaning use that word over and over again in your profile. So you can keyword stuff it into the initial title of what you do at the very top, right under your name. You can do it in your about. You can do it again in the titles of your job positions. You can keyword stuff again in your, when you're listing your capabilities. You can keyword stuff it again when you're attaching either videos or white papers or presentations. So be mindful of what's called keyword stuffing on your profile. Okay. So the rest of your about, unfortunately, for people who are humble, is ruthless self-promotion. So here's what I mean. You really need to put in all the things that are going to impress people. Now, when I go to presentations at clients, or when I help clients prepare presentations for, to influence, persuade, and to sell to their the corporations, their prospects, I tell them to have self-amnesia. I tell them this is not about selling, it's not about bragging. Now the about page is about bragging. So here is the first time that I'll ever tell you this is where you're going to brag. But you're going to do it intentionally and with data. And here's what I mean. Here are some of the things that I'm looking for when I write bios for my clients, and what I need you to have. One is if you were nominated or received any awards. Hopefully it's related to what you do, but like if you were selected a beauty contest, winner, and yet you do like government contracts in B2B, road work, I'm not sure that that's relevant, but hopefully it's something relevant and applicable that we can brag about to the industry and about your industry, about your capabilities. So any awards or nominations. Any media appearances, list the biggest channels, or TV channels, radio channels, or publications. And a number of times is also great if it's a something to brag about. So for example, I always talk about I've been on 20 TV interviews. I've been published in certain publications and journals. So those are the things that I write about. Where you have done public speaking, and if you've done, and how many times. So we're looking for scope, you guys. Anything that's impressive, anything that, for example, I spoke at the NASDAQ. I spoke at NASDAQ and got on the Jumbotron. And I've also spoken at the Harvard Club, and I've spoken at some large conferences. So I literally list some of those things. Years in the industry. No, I know that there's going to be a breakdown of your actual resume down further in LinkedIn, but I often like to put it in the actual bio, because that's where people look at first. And then I also love to put any special differentiators that you or your company have. So you could have maybe invented a system. You could have maybe trademarked something. Maybe you're the only person who does this kind of service in that kind of way. So that those things I like to throw into the bio as well. And I'm actually going to read you my bio at the end. so that you can find and I'll identify what are some of the elements that I've used in that. Um, the last thing I want to say is this I've heard from a lot of LinkedIn experts, and I believe it as a marketer, and I know exactly why it's working, but something personal. I want you to put into your profile something personal about your passions, about your family, your personality, your goals, your achievements. Think that things that you're most proud of. Okay. And on a final note, before I read you what mine looks like, what my bio looks like, is hashtags, because at the end of the day, when somebody does a search on a hashtag, it's similar to keywords. You want your profile to come up. So look for, again, what are some of the hashtags that you and your competitors are using, and why don't you put those hashtags into the body of your profile? Okay, at the end of your profile. So let me just read to you what mine, and I always like to write bios in the third person. So I did that. I noticed while I was doing this, while I was preparing for this Tuesday tea time, that my LinkedIn profile is still I in the first person, but we've changed that to the third person for my website, which we developed later. So all my bios now are written in the third person, and once I get around to it, my team will change it to the third person. So here's the bio, and I'll read it. Chala Dinkoy is the CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert. She's a marketing strategist. That's what I do for a living. That's how people search for it. That's what people look for. Who helps professional service companies change their messaging to attract more decision makers. So it's just a very brief statement of who I help and what is the problem that I solve. The problem is they are trying to attract more customers. What I do to help is to change their messaging. And who I help is professional service companies. In her former life, Chala was an award-winning marketer. See, that's an award, and it was a marketing award, so it's applicable at companies such as Pepsi, Pizza Hut, Frito-Lay, Diageo, Playtex, and Bic. So one of the other things that I learned in all the years that I've been marketing is name dropping big brands, name dropping, big publications, name dropping TV channel names, any kind of big recognizable brand names, you name drop. And fortunately, my career has been littered with large corporations, so large recognizable brands. So because I was always in consumer marketing. And then I said, so I've been a marketer at these companies for 20 years. Remember, I told you I've summarized it. And now she's a marketing consultant, the author of anything you've written, right? Gentle Marketing and Gentle Way to Attract Loads of Clients, and How to Win Friends the Way Apple Wins Customers. I actually have written 4 books now, so I just only put the 2. In addition, Chala is featured regularly as an expert on major television networks, such as, again, remember the name dropping, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, as well as being a popular speaker at international conferences. So again, if there was really one big one, I could have put that in that was relevant. And then I talk a little bit more about what I do. So having been a purchaser of services in my role as a marketing manager for tier 1 corporations for decades, Chala is able to help professional service providers to break through the competitive landscape and to get through to the corporate decision makers faster and in a more relevant way. Again, pain. I'm talking about. They can't get into the corporate decision makers. Once they get in, it takes a very long time. So I'm able to do that because I was on the other side of the buying table. I used to be a buyer for these large corporations. So this in turn ensures a consistent and sustainable lead pipeline. That's the biggest pain they have, is where is it coming from? How do I get these meetings? And then as well as a marketing plan that enables accelerated growth. So I'm giving you, it's all pain language based, you guys. Like, remember, your bio is about them. Even your bio is about them. So I love that. And then Chala dishes out big advice that's to the point, accelerates your growth, and it's like rocket fuel for your business. That little line is just positioning me, and my personality. And then Chala's true passions are her personal choice for most adorable kid in the world, son Logan, and scuba diving. And boot camp workouts and her Kindle addiction also keep her busy. So these are some of the things that are the personal, what matters to me, what's good for me. And it rounds out the whole bio by making it a little bit more authentic and vulnerable and human. So those are some of the things that I think you need to include in your LinkedIn bio, and will make it so much stronger. I hope that helps, and I hope you, as soon as this ends, you run to your LinkedIn profile and change it up, and then feel free to drop me a line and tell me how you've changed it. All right, everyone. See you next week. Take care.